Hey Collective, happy Valentine's Day. Um, so today I'm gonna get into something a little bit different. I'm not asking about necessarily what's happened with the Nancy Guthrie case. I'm more interested in what the global atmosphere looks like around this headline. Okay, so that's what you see here as the board, the main board, and then I'm gonna clarify some stuff. Now part of why I wanted to do this is because, well, let me just do a recap. So we're at day 14, and I do remember saying um, there was at least two readings where the card portal opening came up, and I was kind of confused about it because I was like a physical portal, like that's what I'm thinking, like in the middle of the desert. I was thinking about that energy, and really, I think this had to do with the holiday. So, because like one of the first readings that I've ever done on this case, I mentioned that this was going to be, it would have a strong emotional hook, and it's meant to drum up and pretty much energize like this year, but it's going to be fueled by some other things. Okay, so let's talk about what those other things are, or what those other things are influencing, because sometimes it's not just the event, it's the timing. So like, let's get into the collective pressure, whatever that is in the air, maybe some of the larger currents that could be amplifying the story, and then maybe like the emotional climate, how it's landing for the overall like world spectrum, I want to say. Okay, so we're looking at it from like a macro perspective, not conspiracy, not control, but psychological and like the cultural rather surrounding the case. So let's see what this spread pretty much had to say. Okay, that is so weird. All right. Now keep in mind this could totally be a nothing burger. All right. So just understand, I don't expect everybody to like be able to follow or understand everything that I put out. However, we're going to go through it together. Okay. So, what it does feel like, there is a large, um, it feels like there's this large intention to cover certain financial networks in or Illuminati, alumni networks. Okay. So, large institutions, think Ivy League and the finances to go with that. Think about large study groups, case studies, things that are considered to be scientifical programs and stuff like that, like and just on the standpoint of, you're thinking about the people involved with this, so those connections, those social connections completely overlap. Now we have Mar-a-Lago here, which I don't think that this card should be in this deck. This should be in the conspiracy deck. But it is interesting that it would show up here because it's like it's showing what the social construct of it is. Now we have ethical algorithm, counterpoint card, the fight for transparency and morality in AI system. All right, the missing link, a critical piece of evidence that can unravel the truth. Something about AI or technologies. Before I had seen this kind of like as a person being the missing link or helping the story come together. Political prisoner is back out here again. This has kind of been haunting a lot of the readings, um, the global world news readings. Individuals imprisoned under dubious circumstances for political reasons. And I've been saying, with this debt enslavement at the center, it feels as though there are people who are being held hostage, and it's not just one person. Like Nancy is the face, this new mission is, which is basically like blackmailing multiple people. Now, I'm going to offer a little bit of speculation here. Personally, I feel like that first phone call that Savannah had to Senator Kelly, I feel like something about that is nefarious, and I want to get into it in the specifics maybe in another reading. But what would it take for people who already have these social overlapping connections, right? What would it take for them to make phone calls and to have like this telephone chain of communication that's all orchestrated? Do you understand what I mean? Like, this one person is told you better do this or else, and then that person calls another person, and then it kind of like creates this weird chain reaction. Now, I'm oversimplifying, okay? But we have the petrodollar collapse card here, fall of oil backed currencies and the shift to new economic power structures. The collapse is here, okay? I've been saying they're trying to slow down how it happens or how quickly, how detrimental, whatever. They're trying to keep as many of their own players on the board, but a lot of people are getting knocked off. Now, the Bush family is here. We know them to be an American political family with a lot of connections, right? To the presidency. They have a lot of influence in global politics. There's something about this subliminal card that is spooky to me because it makes me feel like that reading that it was a mini reading that I did. It was mostly commentary that I did on Maria Castillo or Carrillo, whatever her name is, the person who has been replacing Savannah during the Olympics. Her saying we are Legion, or I mean, she didn't say we are Legion. She said your extended family Savannah is Legion. And she could have extended that by saying, we are many, we're everywhere. Okay, that's exactly what she said. And so with the subliminals, no, it's no telling how many other people have been saying weird things um, that are really coded references to other things that are going on. And, like the public doesn't know exactly how to interpret all of that. Now, the Grimaldis is here, Monaco's royal family known for wealth, glamour, and intrigue. I don't know, sometimes when the royal cards come up, it could talk about long ties or who's in power right now, or who has like leverage over a certain thing, who, you know, I don't know. It gives kind of like WEF kind of energy where they decide what is happening, what's the agenda for the year, all of that. Now, fall from grace here, it's like the subliminals have been given to the person who's fallen from grace, but they have a bloodline that's connected to nobility. This is the card that I was talking about before. Libertarians is right here, okay? So this is a group that's trying to resist either the current administration or they're the resistance in the administration, however you want to interpret this. It's a society of unalivers, okay? They're real stealth, very subtle. They can attack to control without open power. Now, this card is the most concerning to me because it's almost as if it's without a trace, the missing link. It's almost like without a trace, somebody can go missing without a trace. That is very haunting and ominous, especially if you don't know what the overall outcome is. So many people have been trying to theorize what they think could happen, right? But this is not meant to be figured out. We just got a statement from Sheriff Nanos who said this could take months, years, even to solve, which means that either there is no real true intention of it ever being solved. But what did I say? I've been saying since the beginning, this is meant to go cold. I said it was set up like that on purpose. And I also said that they're going to come up with new evidence. It's like they're going to close certain things out and then come up with new evidence as like false hope. And that's just to kind of like keep the energy going. Another thing that I wanted to mention last night, there was something about them detaining. First, it was they detained two people, a man and a woman. Then it was they detained two people, two men and a woman. One was the son of the mother, and then the mother. Okay. Then they said there was a traffic stop that was happening at the same time that they were staging a SWAT, right? And then they said that someone and a streamer caught it on live. I mean, they didn't catch the actual act, did, and they just deleted. I forget how it happened. I know that they caught it, but they weren't sure if it was like streaming live, but they did have something on video. Either way, there was somebody who was stopped at a traffic stop, and it was supposedly related to the Nancy thing, but they shot themselves in the head. Okay, so remember I said a couple days ago, I think this was day 10, I said there would be a stage suicide and those gun cards keep coming out. Go back to my readings. I'm literally, I don't know how I'm pulling from like 24 hours in advance, but that's what it seems like. My spreads seem to be coming out 24 in advance, or 48, 24 to 48. All right, now we have thought police here. Monitoring and controlling the beliefs and thoughts of popular, especially, or of the populace, especially descendants. Okay, now that is clarifying straight down in the middle of financial networks, works, and then the political prisoner. Okay, it's almost as if like they have to get these people on the same page as far as like the narrative. We have to be able to control their beliefs, and they do this by monitoring, certain groups. That's part of like what the clubs, what some of these clubs start off with. It's like nepotism. It's a mix of, okay, um your family is an alumni, so it's expected for you to go here, but either way there's money and ties and communication, um or overlap between the two, in effort to have like pools of people to pull from, or to be able to influence the general public, all of that. Anyway, major planetary conjunctions. Now, part of the reason why I brought up that guy who shot himself was, one, to confirm what I had said before in those other readings, but also something about remember when I said that the retaliation, there was something about retaliation, or because I'm gonna get into that in the other reading about like the participants, who's really involved, like on the ground involved in this situation, not the shadow figures. This is more covering the shadow figure elements. So there was something about that story. Once it was reported this morning, I woke up, you can't click on the link. It's been pulled. So either that was incorrect information, not the fact that someone didn't get killed, they didn't die, but more so maybe either that it doesn't have any connection to Nancy, or it definitely does, and they're trying to hide that part. I've considered the fact that maybe if they still want to run with the storyline of it being a kidnapping, if they realize that it's a larger plot in terms of like collusion between larger groups, organized crime members, remember that's been coming up. They don't want to be wrong, number one, but they also don't want to disrupt any leads that they may have. These people that they keep picking up and detaining and releasing, they're doing that because they think that they're getting closer, because they're trying, either one or two things is happening. They think they're getting closer, and they're trying to figure out, okay, we know you have the connection to this person, but this person is also connected to this. So are you involved in it? Now, I've also thought about the possibility of them, because Pima County is doing a lot of these like first discovery moments and detaining, and they have not relinquished power over to the FBI, which could be problem number one or not, depending, because we already showed the Brotherhood situation. But anyway, staying focused. I think part of this could also be like making it look like they're doing something, but marking certain people as safe. So take that with what you will. Major planetary conjunctions, massive shift in society. There's a major planetary conjunction that's supposed to happen February 28th. We may get a certain new tidbit of information in at the end of the month. Um, I also know we have a new moon coming up. Or is that the new moon? That's the new moon. Is it a solar eclipse? I feel like it's a solar Aquarius, but I could be incorrect. Either way, that's a significant time. Corporate assassin covert taken to eliminate key figures in high stakes industries. Political puppet, and it's being clarified with the oh my God, subliminals. The subliminals. Okay. Cloning centers, cloning of political figures to control the narrative. And this is falling underneath the thought police with the Illuminati financial networks and all of that. We've also been coming up a lot on this, while all of this is happening, we're getting new developments in discovery of actions in the files, okay? People are starting to put, that's another thing about, like, it wasn't just about making it hard for people to go through those files individually. It was about making it difficult for people to bridge the gap between a lot of these connections. And unfortunately, they're so heavily based in finance and alumni. If I'm not mistaken, I think what's her name? Savannah is an alumni of Georgetown. Georgetown is up there too. It's up there with, the top tier Ivy League-ish type of schools. It's not Harvard and Yale, but it's very close. Um, I don't know where Michael went to school. Michael, her husband, I'm getting into his ass soon. Talking Head is here. Prominent voice in the media shaping opinions or spreading bias. Okay. And this is what I mean. Something about the 28th is going to be significant about like news that we receive from a specific person or eliminating a certain person. Okay. Savannah may, I don't know. Listen, anyway, she may make an official announcement that she ain't going back. Or, it might be NBC makes the announcement for her. And then she finds out on TV. Something crazy. Synthetic social movement creation is also here. Don't know what that is. Synthetic social movement. Okay, so corporate assassin. It's almost like they want to create situations where there are more high stakes involved, more fear involved, eliminating certain figures or disagreeable political public puppets. MK Ultra 2.0, modern versions of government-led mind control projects aimed at controlling populations. This is all about control. Now we know that. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking, not claiming to. However, I'm trying to figure out this story, why they're using Savannah specifically, because she's being used as a political puppet, not just a media puppet. They're using her talking head status to be a political puppet. And I've been saying that she's going to get more involved in politics in some way. There's going to be more influence in politics. Her trying to create reforms or either laws about how the sheriff's department does certain things, like laws about it's something to do with like injustice or taking too long with evidence or something like that. And then it also could go into the people who have been detained. They have an opportunity to sue as well. I picked up on that February 9th or 10th. I can't remember. Go back. Who destabilizes the system? This is on top of the talking head. She has the ability to destabilize. Rogue agent went public. I think that's part of what the problem is too, is like the rogue agent went public. She messed up by going to the police thinking that she had a friend, and I think that was the problem. When you see in those horror movies, it's like a serial killer and somebody's running from something, right? They think they're running from something, and then they knock on the door of a neighbor that they think can help them, and then the neighbor ends up being like the serial killer or something crazy like that, right? It's something about that phone call. I'm telling you, I need to go deep into that, but I keep seeing it. Senator Kelly has something to do with what's his face. Now I know he's over him technically. What is this man's name? Sheriff Nanos. I know that Kelly is over him technically, right? But this deep state card here, shadow network within the government that operates independently of elected officials. And if I'm not mistaken, the sheriff is elected, not appointed. The chief officers are appointed. Go back to I'm scared that my shifts of power video may not work. I don't think the audio is there, but I'm still leaving it up because I don't know why. I just have like hope that maybe the audio will somehow find itself to the video. But if not, I will do that video over again. I said so much in there about the new chief officer guy, Chad Kazmar, and Sheriff Nanos. If you want me to do that video again, just put it in the comments. I will, but I'm not rushing to do it just because I'm trying to move on. So Rogue Agent went public. She messed up. She went public. Why can't I say black bag job? Covert operations. involving burglary, theft, or data breaches. This was a black bag job. And what's her face kind of messed it up. She was just supposed to pay the little money and keep it pushing. She probably wasn't going to get her mom back. It probably was never going to be about getting the mom back. It was always going to be about something else. Now, I do want to talk about these countries that popped up, because when countries come up, I get a little concerned. Usually there's like, it usually means like there is some crazy operation going on, a strike of some sort, or some type of funding going towards something bad. So India is here, Cuba, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. Somebody please tell me in the comments what is the connection to all these things, because I know somewhat individually. Okay, Cuba, I know what their issue is, right? The communism and all of that. They're a long-standing socialist state. Um, Historical tension with the US. I feel like something's going on with them right now. They have a lot of regional influence with the Caribbean and Latin America. The worst case scenario with Cuba being so close to the United States, it's weird that, I mean, it's not that close, but it is weird that we have such a beef with them. Um, like there's no reason, I feel like there's really no reason for it to be such a long standing beef. But okay, anyway, we have India. I know the guy who is like their leader. Do they have prime ministers or something, or presidents? I don't know. But the India, so growing economy, tech involvement, or tech development and advancement, key player in regional global politics. Wasn't the leader of India? First of all, I felt like there was some type of protest going on with his country at one point. Then I feel like I remember seeing him a lot either with Japan, the previous the previous prime minister of Japan, or was that China? But that was like earlier last year. So somehow they're involved in this situation. Pakistan is here, nuclear armed nation. And I feel like we need to keep our eye on India for some reason, because I feel like the energy I'm getting on this is like they like to straddle the fence. Somebody in the comments, let me know if you're more, adept as far as like uh political science and all of that. Please let me know. Pakistan, nuclear armed nation with a complex relationship with India, terrorism and regional power plays. Okay, so we got two rivals here. Pakistan, India. India doesn't like Pakistan. So we're gonna have to get into this on another. Saudi Arabia being here is not surprising to me at all. They have been inserting themselves in a lot of the social um spaces, like anything to do with sports and entertainment. They've been paying for it. Okay, it's like they want to get a piece of the pie. They want to get a piece of this American. It's not so much about them being American or being Western. It's more so about like dominating the West, I feel. Okay. Major oil producer wielding influence in global energy markets and regional Middle Eastern politics. Okay. So we know we got these two situations. Does Pakistan and Saudi Arabia get along? I mean, it seems like they would, right? They're both Middle Eastern countries. Anyway, we know the Middle East plays a large role in this. How much? I don't know. I do want to touch on that in another reading. So let me put these four cards off to the side. But this was kind of like a little intro to, the main theme. Now, I do have a set of questions. I don't know if it's really necessary for me to do this part as far as clarifying, but let's just see what pops out. All right. So, what collective energy is amplifying? Oh God, some of these cards are backwards. Hold on, sorry. I have cards going another way. Okay, so what collective energy is amplifying this headline right now? What collective energy is amplifying the Nancy Guthrie headline? Let me split this deck because this is too big. What collective energy is amplifying the headline? Table. Table and river. Putting something on the table. Flow, flow. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. What do you think is going on as I pull? Because this is from a deck that's like, it's just like a medium deck. It has a bunch of like random things, items, whatever. Okay. Um, but it helps to clarify some of these complex cards that I've created because they're so simple. So we'll see. Is this Nancy Guthrie story riding a larger global stress wave? Sticky glove in 4th of July. Sticky glove, 4th of July. Now, I don't know why I'm thinking about blood or something, but it does feel like it's a stick. They have to handle it with care. Okay. Handle it with care because it can be too gruesome. There can't be a discovery of a body and she's like really dismembered. She might be, but they can't know that. What happened to her, the whereabouts, it all has to be left up to a mystery because that's a better story. It's actually cleaner that way. You put on gloves when you are cleaning something up. 4th of July could be significant because we could either get a major development that day that is so far down in the world of the calendar, 4th of July, but red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue, the police, emergency, red, white, and blue. Sticky situation. Okay, it's a sticky situation with law enforcement. Sticky situation. Either with law enforcement, but date could be significant. What archetype is playing out through this case? What archetype is playing out with this case? The victim, the messenger, distraction, reckoning, machine. Of course, the machine. The machine, because the machine must continue. Okay. This is a large machine. It's a lot of moving parts. It's not something that can be easily eliminated. They're playing their cards a certain way. Okay. So it's almost like they've already been defeated, but they want to make it feel like a hopeless situation. Like, oh my God, this is so mortifying. Like, where, like, we need our law enforcement to help us get through such and such. Meanwhile, the story is really centering around law enforcement and how they are in sticky situations. Okay. Is the timing coinciding with larger, broader institutional attention? Sorry, I'm smacking the cards. I don't know if you hear my question, but is the timing coinciding with broader institutional tension? Two more questions and then we'll close out. Is the timing coinciding with broader institutional pressure or tension? Ooh, this doesn't want to come out. Timing coinciding with broader institutional tension. Boil. Ooh, something is coming to a boiling point. Something is coming to a boiling point. Putting it on the table. Okay. What frequency or van? What? We know about the van. First of all, the person who shot himself supposedly was in a white van. Okay, so what was funny about last night was it was almost like they wanted us to think that everything was coming together. Ooh, they found this Range Rover. It's a blue truck. They've been talking about a blue truck, but who else has a blue truck? Annie. Annie's car is impounded right now. They towed that car last night also away. They had been taking certain things as far as like pictures, and then they sealed at the back. I mentioned something about the trunk. Not to say that they found anything, or maybe there was a container, something contained in the back, but I did say something around the 11th or 12th. I said that there was something about the trunk. So, what fear frequency is activated collectively? I think just the fact that people can't solve the situation or people are actively trying to solve it, they're active observers of this whole situation, so they feel pulled in. If you notice, I want to say since COVID, they've made it really a point to involve people and engage in real live ritual. They found a way to ritualize even the news. Live stream News stations don't like doing live streaming anymore because one, they can't control the narrative if they just put everything out there, right? For everybody to see in real time. So that's why they pulled back from live streaming. However, people who do stream situations like this, where sleuths are on the field and, looking at it and giving us a full first hand perspective for us to understand on our own and to process with our own level of discernment, um like they can't, they want to compete with that person, um that type of energy is not easy to control. So that's where the thought police also can come in. It's like they want to be able to control what we believe in, and things are coming to a boil point right now to where we can see the clues. The more we see situations like this, I remember watching the Ukraine war, watching, I will never forget that, watching certain things on Telegram in real time of families hiding in, bunkers, or their houses being blown up, walking through fire and having to be careful about walking through fields in fear of like the Germans coming. Like, that was terrifying. But what they got out of that situation was everybody was on board with watching it. Everybody was glued to the screen. No matter what screen you were in, a portal, because you were using a black mirror of some sort, whether that was your TV, tablet, or phone. And they found a way to engage and use that energy to push forward whatever that agenda was. And they've done that over and over again. And it feels like it's gotten amped up. And now I feel like in the last 2, 3 years, I've been noticing that it feels like they almost want to engage the average person in becoming the headline. Okay. It's being as close to the headline as possible. All right. Anything else about this fear frequency being activated collectively? Almond? Almond? Almond milk? Almond? I don't know. What does the almond have to do with anything? Nuts? This is nuts. It is nuts, but okay. Um, okay. Two more questions. Is this story symbolic of something larger happening globally right now? Is it symbolic of what's happening globally? Heart. What did I say? Thank you, Spirit, for clarifying. Okay, heart. I told you. I've been talking about the heart, how significant it is. It's not a joke that they brought up. I mean, I know it's not a joke, but I'm saying it's not by accident that they keep bringing up the heart, the pacemaker, oh my God, the medication, all that. Like, that's on purpose to be like, oh, and not to say it's not terrible, but like, you see what I mean? You jump in the bag of being like emotional about something like this. That's where it kind of gets a little sticky. You got to observe. I'm trying to help people to learn how to just observe situations as much as possible and remain neutral, because Lush is real. Okay, and you need to keep your energy and your energy body frequently, just vibrating at a high frequency all the time. Like, you have to do that even through these horrific stories. So what's the lesson that's surfacing from the public consciousness? What's the lesson? What's the lesson? Final card. What's the lesson? Detective. Detective. Okay, this is so funny to me. Okay, so detective, it's like you have the, what did I just say? It's like you have the advantage of observing. Yes, you it's almost like paying attention. Pay attention. Okay? Pay attention to the details. Um Observe. Don't involve yourself emotionally too much though, because which is a very hard thing to do, especially with the files. The files is a very hard thing, especially for those of us who have been following this whole situation 10, 15, 20 years into the thing. Like, it's very difficult for a lot of us right now to keep it together because we've been on this already. We already knew how horrific all of this was and who was really involved in all of that. But y'all, anyway. So sometimes headlines become lightning rods for much bigger themes. The question isn't just about why this case is happening, but more so why now. Now, this reading doesn't claim any crazy collusion or orchestration, okay? Do not sue me. I just be knowing stuff. That's not my fault. All right. It's examining the atmosphere. I'm just observing. So energy moves in waves. Energy moves in waves. Remember, river is here. All right. So culturally, politically, emotionally, if the headline feels heavier than usual, it may be because it's intersecting with something larger in the collective field. So that's why we're here. Okay. So drop your thoughts below. Does this feel isolated to you? Does this case feel like it's a part of something bigger? Or do you feel like this is just do you feel like it's just sitting inside like a bigger global shift? Like, are we embarking on that right now? Let me know. Okay. I love you guys. Stay grounded, stay discerning. Remember, observation. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Observation, okay, is the key. Observation. Observe, look, listen, compare. Okay. Don't take anybody's word for anything, not even mine. All right. Love you. Bye.